Hey, my name is Douglas Thompson. I'm an Airsoft gun tech. I'm going to show you my collection. And my collection has changed numerous times throughout the years. I've gone through a bunch of guns and a bunch of, AEGs. I'm just starting to venture into gas blowbacks. These two over here, gas blowback, sorry about that. And these are AEGs. I kept these two in particular. One, because this gun has always been very reliable to me, the L85. This gun I just got for like 80 bucks. I bought it broken and then I just fixed it up and stuff and threw some parts I had lying around and made it a complete gun again. It was missing a lot of parts and needed a lot of things. Supposedly it was only missing a motor, but it was, missing about $80 worth of parts, which was disappointing because now I can't sell it for. I bought it to flip it. I bought it to buy it for 80 and turn around and sell it for 100 after I fixed it, and that didn't go so well. Anyway, so I'll start off with going over some of the features and also some things I don't do and don't like about the guns, and go over some upgrades and modifications I've made. So let's start off with this. I have no idea what company makes this. I think it's I know it's licensed by Knight's Armament. If you look at the rail, it's Knight's Armament. It's even got a phone number on there. It's you don't see it too often. It's got pretty decent trades on it. More Knight's Armament stuff. The pistol grip is I think different. I just threw this on there. I can't remember exactly, but I think I just threw this on there. It didn't come with a gun. The previous owner did this, and I guess it looks pretty decent. The battery, I just have it in there because right now I'm not running the wire harness through here. I just run it through the back because I had a spare wire harness, and I haven't really wanted to invest much more than I already have into this gun because I bought it, like I said, to originally just flip it. And so it's kind of ghetto wiring, and eventually I will get a wire harness that goes through the buffer tube, and then have the back access. But for now, this is just my beater gun. It's got all upgraded internals. Doesn't really matter what I have in it because pretty much all internal parts for airsoft guns are just junk, overpriced junk. And I can say that because I use many different companies' parts, and they're all equally as unreliable when you want them to be reliable. This is the ICS L85A2. This is the carbine originally with a shorter barrel length, but I actually just did a front end conversion and put the standard length version handguard on there because I just like it because it's narrower, it has a narrower profile, and the battery changes are easier. Just pop this up, push this button on the top here. Make sure that's not in the way of the front sight post. There's the wire harness and everything, and you can change the fuse right there. It's kind of a car fuse. And you can fit a pretty big battery in here. Like I've even been able to fit 2 batteries in here, so you just like literally you can like tape them down or something so they don't wobble around. But you fit 2 batteries in there, and then you can just have the wires hanging out the top. So let's put this on real quick. Kind of difficult to do with one hand, as in all my videos, because I can't find a tripod for this thing, or at least one that I like. Okay, so when this is on here, it snaps into place. Make sure your wires aren't crimping anywhere. So it snaps into place. And of course, I can't get it to do for some reason. There you go. So listen, boom, clip. Okay, so and you can just have both the wire harnesses running at the top here, or the wires from the batteries, and then just pop it in there, close it, and then you're shooting the gun, you run out of battery, pop it open, switch over to the other connector. Takes like 5 seconds. Great gun. Just take out 2 body pins, this one right here, and this one right here. It's kind of loose, but anyway, it's got a retention spring thingies in there, and you separate the upper and lower. I'm going to do this right now, actually. It's missing a couple parts, but they're not necessary. So if you look in the back, you gotta make sure these are all the way out. This comes off. And that's just like the little butt pad. And then I accidentally pulled the wire out too, but if you look at that, that's the motor adjustment, and then you look right there, that black thing, that's actually the spring guide rod, and it's adjustable. You can adjust the FPS. So now if you have this all the way out, you should be able to separate the upper and lower. And it's stamped steel, so it's good quality stuff. And I'm not going to put this back together because it takes so much time with one hand, and I'm trying to make this video short. It doesn't take a lot of time when you're doing it on the field or whatever. I've field stripped this gun while playing before. You know, these separate anyway. So you just take the wiring off the back, and that's the gearbox. No unscrewing of anything necessary. Again, this is the ICS. So you pop this. See how it says, oops, high and low on there. There's also a medium setting. So there's two holes on this side, and then if you flip it around, there's one hole on this side. I mean, there's obviously 3 holes, but they're if you flip this thing around, see how there's like a tab right there and a tab right there. If you flip this thing, there'll be a hole kind of diagonally. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. Anyway, but everything's upgraded on it, except like the cylinder and like the bushings and stuff that doesn't really make a difference for performance. I know you can say, you know, we could put some bearings in there to make it faster, but you don't want to do that with anything higher than like an M100 or M110 because there's a lot of pressure on the bearings. But these are bushings, steel bushings. And again, to demonstrate how easy this is, pop this clip off. Oops, wrong side. Pop this clip off. I always got to say something like it's super easy. There we go. Pop that clip off. And again, I'm not going to redo this because I'm doing it with one hand. So you pull this pin. There. There's a spring and everything. So as you can see, there's holes right here. There's a hole right there. So this ridge right here. So I'll demonstrate without the spring. This ridge right here lines up with these ridges. So if you want to do low, that's low. I want to put into our, and you know, this hole's high, and you can twist it. And then now that hole's exposed, and that's medium. So it goes, if you have a spring like an M120, it'll go like 350, 375, 400, around that roughly. You know whatever spring you have in there is what determines that. But so that's a good example. Let's set this aside. This gun takes standardized magazines, standardized M4 magazines. This is just some cheap high cap. I just brought it for demonstration, or show you what magazines it runs. Okay, so let's move on to the MP7. This is, I think, made by KWA, but it says it's Umarex or Umarex. I think they just bought the licensing because KWA recently lost the licensing rights to H&K, Heckler and Koch, or Coke, however you want to say it. I guess if you don't want to say cock, I think it is actually pronounced Heckler and Koch, but I think that's just my mistake that I call it that occasionally. I try to correct myself because most people say it's Coke, and I think it is. But anyway, so on this gun I'm going to actually insert the magazine because it actually does affect the weight and the overall looks of the gun. Looks pretty awesome. This is a collapsible forward grip. If you press this tab right here on the other side, you can extend the stock. And it's a little bit wobbly, but these are the battle sights. They're good for like if you're wearing goggles and stuff and you can't get down close to the gun, or if you can use this gun. I've used it on fields during pistols only too. You set it for, I mean, you can, I guess you can set it for full auto too, but I set it on single. See, usually where I leave it because it's gas bullet gun and you don't have too many rounds. It's a 40 round magazine. They also have the 20 round magazines that are flush with the pistol grip, but you can get lower to the ground and stuff easier. But it's better to have the more ammo, in my opinion. But you can use it as a pistol too. If you flip these down, they're pretty nice sights. They're just like regular pistol sights, and they're actually, you know, you can adjust them and stuff. You can adjust the windage and elevation, and they're pretty decent sights. Like they're, you know, there's nothing custom on this gun internally or externally. I just wanted this to be a pure gun. There's the bolt carrier and stuff, and it's an extremely small bolt, so the cycle rate is around, I think it's around like 900 rounds per minute, which I guess isn't too impressive to some AEG users, but I like to keep my rounds per minute relatively low because I like to conserve ammo and then have it to where my burst fire, or when I'm on full auto I can burst fire and then have control of how many shots I spray. This is the WE Tech magazine. I number my magazines that if there's any problems I can remember which one it is at the end of the day. And I also tape these because it's a little bit loose in the mag well in this particular gun. I don't know if it's a problem for everyone, but it makes it to where sometimes the gas isn't consistent. But with this tape around it, it seats it in there nice, no wobble at all. Like, I'll put it in there. I have no bolt catch on this gun. I have a lot of missing parts in this gun because a lot of them broke, and then I just removed them because they're just not functional. So I can't really pull the bolt back while I insert the magazine, but it doesn't really hurt as long as there's no BBs in it. So if you notice, no mag wobble at all. Like, I mean, the gun is like solid within there. There's no magazine catch either, so so this is an RA Tech steel bolt carrier. It's it adds weight to the bolt carrier because it's a steel, CNC machine steel, and it actually gives you more recoil. Gives you a little bit slower cycle rate, which is fine with me because, like I said, I prefer slower. It's still shooting around 900, which is not the best because as soon as you pull the trigger, let's take this magazine now. Actually, as soon as you pull the trigger, you cannot. This is extremely difficult with one hand with the tape on there. These normally would just like drop free if you just push that. It would just pop out. But you have to kind of yank it out with the tape on there. If you look in there, oops, you can see it. Okay, it's a little firing pin doohickey, this striker valve, or valve striker. It's a great gun, again made by WeTech. It's stamped steel receivers, upper and lower. I added this ICS Picatinny rail on top here. The lighting's pretty bad, so you can't really see it. And I had to modify it a lot to get it to work on this gun. I had to Dremel it out and stuff to make it sit flush and stuff. And it took quite a bit of work. And then what's it called? You had to just drill it out and then also crown the edges so the screws would fit in and stuff. And as you can see, my trigger guard is missing. But when I got this rail right here, I got it used, so I didn't have all the parts for it, and I didn't want to buy another. You know, it's hard to find just like screws for things that are, you know, specifically intended for. It's a piece of paper towel, in case you're wondering. I think I just wiped it off. It's hard to find specific screws for airsoft stuff, and you know, things are just different, and some of them aren't compatible. And I just had this lying around, and it was the perfect thread pattern, so I put it on there. And then it interfered with the trigger guard, and I tried to just bend it, but the trigger guard just broke. It was good quality steel, but I just bent it too far. But it wasn't a big deal because really nothing's going to be hitting the trigger, you know. And if there's no magazine in the gun, you're pretty much not going to be firing it anyway because it's not a real gun and has no capability to fire without gas. This is the Mad Bull Daniel Defense rail system. Pop this up, and of course there's no battery in there, but you can see like the fake gas tube assembly. And this actually moves. I don't know if it's supposed to, but when you shoot the gun, it goes forward a little bit and it gives it a little bit of a clank. Like you can hear it. Like it's subtle, but it's kind of nice. Goes in there nice. I don't have the what is that called? I can't think of it right now. The muzzle brake, not the muzzle brake, compensator, whatever you want, a flash hider, whatever you want to call it. You know, there's numerous different types of things that you could put on here. It's reverse thread, but the original one comes out to here, the flash hider. So I just didn't, the barrel only goes to right there. So I'm like, why have this big old chunk of metal that doesn't really do anything? It doesn't affect recoil or anything. You know, it's not a real gun. So this is the Magpul AFG. I think it's the first model. They have a second one that it just goes flat, so it doesn't interfere with rail covers and other attachments. But I like this one because it actually allows you to have more comfort. And it's a great gun. I guess I could pop it open for you. It's the different size or different length pins. Other one's right here. This one is for the trigger pack, which I'm not going to take out right now because it requires a screw, and I don't have a screwdriver on hand right now. So you just, same way the other one, you just remove the upper and lower receivers. That's the upper. There's quite a bit of white silicone grease, but it helps the gun last longer because it less wear on the parts. And it doesn't really matter if there's a lot in there. It doesn't really affect anything. Just try not to get it on the piston area and stuff. That's actually silicone grease or silicone oil in there. That's a trigger pack. This is all RA Tech parts. And I don't know what my phone's doing here. Why is it not focusing? Yeah, all RA Tech parts. That's RA Tech trigger that you see moving around there. As you can see, there's a lot of things missing. This is just bare bones. There's RA Tech trigger, RA Tech hammer, RA Tech partially the fire, like the part that pops out right here is RA Tech, and then the other one is stock because the RA Tech one isn't long enough to hit the magazines. This is the valve striker. It isn't long enough to hit the magazines with any authority. So I kept the original one, and I'm actually going to need a new one soon because you can see it's kind of deforming. You can see that. And this right here is the trigger linkage bar. That's again some white lithium just to keep the metal parts in good condition. There's no fire selection on this gun because on the stock one there is, but I had to remove it because my selector, I don't know what you call it, just a selector switch broke while I was trying to repair it because the screw stripped, and a really low quality screw, and I was using the appropriate screw size, but it stripped, and then I had to pry it off with a flathead screwdriver because it's the only way to remove it. So luckily everything else is steel in it and stuff, and these parts won't break. The only thing I'm gonna have to replace soon is probably the delayer, the valve delayer on the side, and then this valve striker eventually, and then it'll run fine. I don't mind that it only runs on full auto. I used to only run on semi-automatic, but I think overall full auto is more fun. I know it's not as you can't you have a lot less ammo at your disposal, or at least it feels like it because you're just running through it quicker. But it is more fun than semi-automatic because you get to feel more recoil, and it's you know, just more satisfying. And I do have a shooting video. If you look in my other videos, I have shooting demonstrations of the L85 and then also the MP7. But that's my gun collection. A short overview and you know, some upgrades I put in and some things I like and dislike about it. Overall, I think my favorite gun is the WeTech L85, just because it's satisfying to use, even though it's been by far the most unreliable. But since I've made the upgrades and changed a few things, it hasn't failed yet. So pretty much just replace every original part you can besides the receivers, you know, like the barrel and the proprietary parts, and you'll be in much better shape. this, I mean, I've had problems with. This is my actually a replacement that the company sent me for free because my bolt carrier, which is a cheap part, it's like 30-40 bucks. My bolt carrier just broke in 3 different places, and it still worked and stuff, but I was just so dissatisfied that it broke so early. It was within like the first month or something I had it, that I returned it, and they were even nice enough to allow me to keep the magazine that came with it. They just told me to send back the gun, and they're like, just send it without the magazine and everything, and then they sent me a brand new one with another magazine. So I basically got a $50 magazine for free, and then a new gun, and then I haven't had any problems with it since. The ICS is a great gun, and really easy to work on and really easy to use, and I highly recommend it. So this is my gun collection currently as of 2014, March 2014. I'm sure it'll change, and I'll do updates. And hopefully you've enjoyed my short, long video. Have a good day.